Hey guys, I'm back again, and today we will take a look at the infamous color aimbot. I got some comments requesting a color aimbot, and today that will happen. The color aimbot works like this. We define an area within the screen, then we scan through this area for a specific color. If the color is found, then we move the mouse towards the pixel. This works for any color, you just have to pick yours. If you haven't already, subscribe, like the video, make a comment. Now, it only takes a second. This will help me create more content for you guys, and the swedz community can grow. As always, if you need help, then write a comment or join the Discord below. And of course, if you want to download the source code from this video and many others, then join me over at the Buy Me a Coffee page. Before you try this, remember to only use this application in games that allow it, otherwise you might get banned. We will paint him red eventually. Alright, let's create this color aimbot. Now, as usual, we will create a new project and it will be a Windows Forms app. So, this Windows Forms app, you can call it whatever you want, but I'll just take the name color bot because I've already chosen color aimbot as the name of a different project. So, the framework will be .NET 6. We will create it and then alright, so the only graphical changes we will make to this form is that we change the text of the form to color aimbot, and we will add one label like this, and we're done with the graphical interface. So double click on the form to get the load function, and when we're in the load function we can go ahead and start the coding. So we will need a Nuget package for this tutorial, and the Nuget package will be Input Simulator Plus. This Input Simulator Plus will help us perform mouse clicks and move the mouse and whatever you want that has to do with the mouse and keyboard. So once it has installed, we will write using WindowsInput like that, and we will write using system.runtime.interrupt services like that. We will use both of them, and I think they're the only ones we need to write right up there. So beneath your class you will create an import, a DLL import from user32. This import will be private static extern short get async key state. This get async key state will have the parameters keys or virtual key. That's the only DLL import we need. Now let's create some instances of the input simulator and a hotkey for us to use. So the first one, the input simulator, we'll call it input simulator equals new input simulator, a new instance. The second one will be our hotkey, so it will be a key and then aimbot hotkey. This will be equal to keys dot, and then you can choose whatever button you want. I will use the mouse 5 button, which is the X button too. Now, I don't think we need any more constants or variables for our program. That means we can start coding our methods. So beneath the form load, we will create a new Boolean method that is called isHotkeyPressed. The parameter will be, you guessed it, a virtual key, and we will return the DLL imported functions or function get a async key state with our virtual key, and we will check if it's below 0. If it's below 0, it means we're pressing the key. Otherwise, it's false, and that will get this hotkey hook. The next function or method will be another Boolean, which is called are colors similar. This method will take in two colors, so color 1 and color 2. It will compare these colors and check if they are similar enough for our purpose or difference, like that. So first color, second color, and then an integer for the maximum allowed difference. Now we will check these color differences by taking the red, the green, and the blue difference from the color and check them by the absolute value of the color difference. So we will have a red difference, which equals to map.absolute, and then the delta red. So color 1.red minus color 2.red. Second one will be the green difference, which will equals math.absolute color 1.green minus color 2.green. I don't know why the autocorrect gave me a second parenthesis, but we will do the same for the blue difference. Math.absolute color 1.blue minus color 2.blue. Now, if all of these differences are within the maximum allowed difference, we will return true. That's red. Why does it? That was wrong of the autocorrect. It should be green difference below or equals the maximal difference, and lastly the blue. So if all of these differences are equal or below the max color difference, it will return true, and that means the color is similar enough. So now that we have a method for checking if the color is similar enough, we can create the color scan method. So we created this method in my last video, but now it's a bit different. We will actually return a point with the location instead of just a boolean that says yes or no if the target was in front of the crosshair. So we will have in the parameter section a target color. We will have a start X. We will have a start Y. We will have an end X, and after that an end Y. So not a semicolon, but the body instead. The start X and start Y is the first coordinate, and the end X and end Y is the second coordinate for us to create a rectangle or a certain area of the screen to search in. So we have the location and the color. Let's create a bitmap that will hold the graphics of the screen. So we'll be using bitmap. Let's call it screenshot, which will equal to a new bitmap. And to get the size of this area, we will do end x minus start x to get the positive value, and the end y minus start y. And I think we need a second ending parenthesis. So we have the bitmap. Now we will be using the graphics as well. So graphics G, which will equal the graphics from image and then our screenshot. So we have a graphics object to work with. Now we will copy G dot copy from screen, and then a new point. It will be the starting point, start x and start y. The next argument will be a point.empty because we don't need it, and the last argument will be the size. So it will be the size of our screenshot, of course. And we're done with that line. So we have the graphics now into our screenshot bitmap. Let's scan through this bitmap with a nested for loop to find that specified pixel. So we have the x-axis, which starts from 0. As long as x is less than the screenshot width, we will increase by 1. Now, because it's a second axis, the y-axis, we will need to create a second for loop. Int equals 0 and y is less than screenshot.height. We will perform the following. We will take the pixel color, which will equal to screenshot get pixel, and we use the loop variables x and y. We will take that pixel and we will check it with our colors similar method. We have the target color and then we have the pixels color. So we will need a third argument, which is the color difference. So you will need to find out which value works best. 30 is quite big when we only are seeking one color, so test something less than this if it's non-changing or a little bit of changing color. But otherwise just test 30 and see how it goes. Now if they are similar, we will return a new point with the x and y, but because we're looping inside of this bitmap, we will get the values from the start x and start y, but we will not, or they will not be offsetted to the screen size. So we will need to add the start x and the start y to get the correct values according to the screen. Now we're not returning or we don't have a return for every end of this method, so we will need to return something if it doesn't find a color. So if it doesn't find a color, we will return a point.empty because it's empty. We didn't find a color. Now the last method before the main logic method will be a color converter method. So we will convert an integer to color, because we can easily get an integer from any color picker app or a website even easily, but we can't get the color class and RGB as easily. So we will create our own method to convert these integer values so we can more easily use our color aimbot. So we will extract the red component of the integer, and how we can do that is by using these bitwise operators. These will shift the red bits by 16 places, and we will encapsulate these bits or that byte to get the amount of red. We will after that get the green, and we will only shift them by 8 places. And since it's only 8 bits left, we don't need to shift the blue any. We just need to use the AND operator. There we go. We will return the new color object with these RGB values. So there we go. We have all of the methods that are needed for our main logic loop. So we will create a method that's called main logic for as an excuse for a better lack of a better name. So this loop will always run. It will always run in the background, and we will check if our hotkey is pressed. Now, if our hotkey, the Aimbot hotkey, is pressed, we will search for, or we will color scan within an area of the screen, found color position. This will equal the method find color position, and we will convert an integer value. I already have my values. I will show you how I got them in a second, but this is my value, and I already have my start x, start y, end x, and end y. I will show you guys that as well. I will show you guys a clip, but mine is 797. Second one is 343. Third argument, the end x coordinate will be 1183, and the fourth argument, and y, will be 625. So, alright, so we're in game and we want to find the color and the coordinates for our rectangle or our area to search in. So let's find the color first, and we're setting this color picker right on the enemy. So we get the color from here, 0 FC FC FC. We replace the colors here to match the color of your game. So I have FC FC FC. You will have something else because you will probably not be using the exact same colors. You might be using red or blue or anything else. So we have the color now. Let's pick the area of the aimbot to search in. So the first coordinate, I will use it somewhere here. You can see the crosshair. You get the position, you write it down. You get the second position, which is, I want to maybe put it somewhere here. We also write down the second ones, and now we have everything we need. So let's replace these values with the new ones. And we're done. If this returns a point that is not empty, it means we have found the color. So let's check if we have found the color position by having is empty at the end and inverting the operation with exclamation mark. Very important, otherwise it will always run, but since it's empty it wouldn't be able to click anywhere. But enough of that. If we do find the pixel, the coordinates, we will move the mouse, move mouse by. This is very important that it's by and not to, because if you use to, it will instantly move the mouse from a static point of view. If we use mouse by, it's relative to our cursor location and it makes everything smoother, and I don't think it actually works that well if you're using mouse to. But use the mouse by, and we will use the found color position dot x and then minus our half of the screen. So I have a 1920 pixel screen, and we will have to, actually I think no, I'll fix it later. We will have to use the y coordinate as well, or the y value. We will need to do minus half of the height of the screen, and when we're done with that, it will move the mouse to that place, or it will continue to move it because it's a derived state. When we have moved to the target, we will sleep by 100 milliseconds to not make it that instant. We will create a thread.sleep within the while loop. It has to be a void. There we go. Now, within the for load method, we will need to start this other method somehow. So we will, before we start the method, we will change the text of the label that we had to let us know with or which hotkey that we are using, so the user doesn't, or that the user isn't clueless. They're using this without the source code. And a second arrow, we will start a thread, logic thread, a new thread, main logic. We will run it in the background as usual, and then we will start it. So that's it for the code. Let's try it out in game. Alright, so I've opened Left 4 Dead 2 and let's test our application. I start it. It says Aimbot hotkey is X button 2. That's perfect. We need someone that has this white color, because now I'm holding the aimbot key down and it's aiming at him. But if I hold it here, it will aim elsewhere. That's because we have or our max color difference is way too high. So let me change that to 5, and we shouldn't get these false positives, at least less. So holding now. And it's less of a chance. Now it's red, so it might not see them. Yeah, I should have set the color to something else. So again, aiming at his hand, it's probably because it's scanning from the left to right, so it will find this one first. We will paint him red eventually. Another one. And it's actually aiming at the enemy. So it's a bit of a fun project creating this.